Good morning, DSST GVR. Quick announcement, Art Club meets every Tuesday after school. Please message or email Kylie Panko or Miss Morgan if you are interested in joining. Anyone is welcome, and you do not have to have any experience to join. So why not?
I am queer, I am non-binary, and if I am not in your movement will not win.
The queer people of color who are out there fighting. I think that's kind of the intersectionality of it. I mean, a lot of times people forget that two of the original founders of Black Lives Matter are queer. They say that their identity as being a member of the LGBTQ community, kind of like James Baldwin, kind of lend them this kind of outside status, and also this connection with this past of oppression and fighting back.
I've been in every single Pride parade since the first one. I've marched for human rights. I've marched for equal rights. I've marched for Black people's rights, because while one person in a country is less than another, we haven't achieved what we need.
In the 1950s, the gay community, as we were all called then, were just so frightened, for good reason. To the churches, all the churches, we were sinners. To the government, at the height of McCarthy-era persecution, we were all subversives. To the police in every single state in the country, we were all criminals. To the so-called mental health professions, we were all crazies. And most of us didn't dare come out of the closet.
Gay rights started not with white people, but it started with people of color. And it started from probably the most oppressed people in the country at that time. And oftentimes I think that's where a lot of these, protests actually really start, when people literally are pushed to the brink and they can't take it anymore.
Maybe more now, because it keeps growing up overnight. And this is a unified effort on the part of somewhere between 20 and 30 organizations on the East Coast.
Black love. Black love had to be more expansive than the hate in the world for us. And Black liberation must be equally expansive, because you may not have known it, but I'm going to tell you now. If you are fighting for justice, if you are fighting for liberation, then you are fighting under queerness.
Especially as a community, the Black community, one of the things that we have to realize is we have zero right to ignore the injustices and liberties that are taken away from other minority groups. And I would say especially the LGBTQ plus community, because the fights they're so similar. A lot of the Black community, they grew up in the Black church, and there's a lot of things that we're taught and we're subjected to, whereas the LGBTQ plus community is looked at, as I mentioned before, as an abomination. The entire LGBTQ plus community as a whole, we would not have the liberties and freedoms and all of the amazing things that we celebrate today if it wasn't for Black trans activists and also people of color, such as Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Them basically being the pioneers, the bravery of standing up and fighting at Stonewall and fighting for just the opportunity to exist in those same spaces as heteronormative, male, homosexual, white men. I am the oldest male from my great-grandmother down that has not been put in jail, that's not dead. That actually has and pursued a college education. And so for me, it's just been something that I've been fighting for and overcoming my entire life, because I had examples before me of what to do and kind of what not to do. No, sorry. It makes me a little emotional. And so just building upon that, there's the pros, but then also there's the con, because police brutality, especially its impact and effect on the Black community, we were raised, the entire community, to basically fear the police. Psychological stuff that the Black community is dealing with, especially when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, because a lot of them, they have their beliefs, but at the same time, when you say Black Lives Matter, you have to include all Black lives, and that's definitely something that's a huge struggle within the Black community, for sure. The same thing and have suffered the same thing as a community as well. Police brutality, systemic racism or systemic discrimination, and yeah, there's just so many parallels and commonalities. So I really think it's a time to have those type of conversations so we could really come together and be solid and move forward in this fight. I try to recognize it in everything that I do. So I want to encourage people to definitely celebrate at every chance that they can, to have those conversations, especially all year round, outside of the month of June, because if we want change to happen, this is something that requires consistent work.